this is the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3, and I have to say right off the bat, it is a really nice device to use. And if you're thinking of picking one up, I would highly recommend it, because you could probably pick this up for about $600 using the Amazon Renewed program. And if you really like it that much, you may purchase it, use it, and then when the upcoming Z Fold 5 is released, you may think, oh, I want to upgrade. If you pick it up for $600, Samsung may be offering $1,000 off. So in effect, in the space of what, seven months, you'd have gained $400. You don't even get that in interest rates nowadays. So to me, that makes good business sense to purchase this now at this really good price. And the other thing is, I don't get a dime or a dollar for recommending this device. I'm speaking straight from the heart. Okay, besides the really good things about this device, there are some drawbacks about this Fold 3, which I'm going to highlight throughout this video. And I was aware of all of these before I purchased the device. I didn't go in blind and then after suffer buyer's remorse. So what I'm going to do is divide this video into two parts. First of all, I'm going to talk about the things that what I call must-have changes. So for example, say you're going to buy a house, there are some things that are non-negotiable. For example, so I'm looking for a house and I need a garage. It's pointless showing estate agent showing me houses without the garage, because to me that's non-negotiable. So that's what I'm going to do in the first part of this video, and then in the second part I'm going to talk about what I call the desirables, things that I don't mind if they change or not. It would be nice, because if Samsung were to make the recommended drawbacks and changes that I'm going to highlight, this device will go from what it's currently a good device, but if they make those changes, it will go from good to a great device. Very similar. You think about it. You have tennis players. You have good tennis players and you have the greats. There's a reason why Novak Djokovic, Roger Federer, Rafael Nadal, there's a reason why they're not just good, they are great players. And I think that for Samsung to be a great player in the foldable space, it needs to make, in fact, a lot of the changes that I'm about to highlight. One thing that I do not like about this device, which really grates on me, and I've not grown to like it whatsoever ever since purchasing this device, and that is the outer screen. Because you go from this beautiful 7.6 inch in a display, you close the device like so, and you're left with this very tall and skinny device, which reminds me of the Sony Xperia 1 Mark II. And as I put them together like this, you can even see that the Sony Xperia 1 Mark II looks even better. Even on the Fold 4, where Samsung have trimmed the side bezels and increased it by what, 2 or 3 millimeters, what's the common complaint about the Fold 4? It is way too narrow. So for Samsung, again, if they're watching, not that they'll be watching a tiny channel like mine, I'm sorry, but if I worked in their department, I would sit down. In fact, Samsung, I'm offering my services. I'll sit down, I'll watch these videos, and I'll make a list of these complaints or possible improvements, and I'll hand it to you as a dossier. And I'm pretty sure what's going to come out of it is your Fold 1, 2, 3 and 4, the outer screen is too narrow. So that tells me, I don't work for Samsung, I don't work in their research and development department, but that tells me straight away we need to widen the outer screen. We've done it 4 times, it hasn't worked. And again, look at the competition. You've got Oppo with the Find N and their latest iteration, the Find N2. Look at Vivo with the X Fold. Look at Xiaomi with their Mix Fold 2. All of them have beautiful wide displays that look very similar to a candy star phone like this Note 20 Ultra. This should be what Samsung should be aiming for the Fold 5. If they cannot get it as wide as that, from the device, to about here, that would be fantastic. Because I'm going to make another really good point which I think Samsung, maybe they don't realize, but something that after using this device on a very regular basis, it will be good reason why this outer screen needs to be wider. So, as I was mentioning, I use this device regularly, and I can tell you the amount of times in public arena. So, let's say for example, I'm on a bus, I'm on a train, in a public environment, maybe in a supermarket. But what I want to do is use my device, but I don't want to open it, because if I open it, what do you think is going to happen? I'm going to attract attention. 99.9% of the people that I see using devices, they're using slab devices like this. So do I, because it just works. Even when you just look at it, it is so aesthetically pleasing to look at the one on the left, the Note 20 Ultra on the left, than this skinny thing on with the Fold 3. So when I'm out in public, I don't want to open the device. I want to just use the outer screen. But again, it's too narrow. It doesn't work. It's great sitting in a studio here. Yeah, of course I can open it like this. I'm sure Samsung, when they're sitting in their offices using it like this, but have they ever say, oh, okay, get some people to test it, let's see what it's like in the public arena? I challenge anyone to tell me that, oh, they're in the public space and they'll just get this device out, open it, blah blah, great. No, because you never know who's watching. Someone may see you and think, oh, that one's got an expensive device, let me follow him or her and prize it off them later on. So just I think for that reason as well, very important point, the front screen needs to be wider. And again, you're paying top dollar. As I mentioned, look at the competition. Theirs is nice and wide, so why shouldn't this one be wider? Okay, moving on from that point, which leads neatly onto my next point, that the outer screen. I'm struggling to understand why you cannot write on the outer screen. As I said, it's too narrow, you're prone to typing mistakes. You know what? It'd be nice if you could use the pen on the outer display. Also, let me make it very clear. I usually have a cover on mine, because obviously it's an expensive device. I don't want to just rock it without a case. When you use it with a case like this, the screen even feels more narrow. And when you're trying to perform certain functions, especially on the edges, say for example here, you can see there's a line there. That is for the on the edge like this. Look, weave it off like this, 100% every time. But when I have this on, trying to get that edge panel out, I don't think so. The S Pen, it needs to be in the body of the device. This is a Samsung device. It doesn't belong to Huawei, not Oppo, not Vivo, not a competition. This is Samsung, Note 20 Ultra. Look, S Pen, right there, boom. And again, this needs to be in the device. The amount of times I have to look for this pen when I'm going somewhere, I'm like, oh, where is it? I may spend 15-20 minutes looking for it, but if it's in the device, don't need to. I just pick the device and go. Again, the pen doesn't need to be chunky. Is that we can send man to Mars, but we cannot get an S Pen into the body of a foldable device? No, I don't think so. That needs to be improved for the Fold 5 for sure. Again, it's a must. It's not a well, it'd be desirable. No. And it's only because I do a lot of editing on the go, so that's why I carry the S Pen. If not, probably wouldn't. Maybe it wouldn't bother me. But yeah. And again, you're charging top dollar, and then you still have to buy the S Pen separately. But the Note 20 Ultra, purchase the device, it comes with the S Pen. So Samsung, please, can you have the S Pen in the body of the device? Okay, moving on from that, the cameras. I think as everybody knows, these are not the greatest cameras on this device, which is a shame because again, you're paying top dollar for a device and it doesn't have all the bells and whistles. No, that's not good. That is not good. So definitely Samsung really need to upgrade the cameras for the upcoming Fold 5. Yeah, it takes really nice photos, but it's not the best by it. It's not the best. It really isn't. And again, for devices costing what, $1,800 new, no, it needs to have all the bells and whistles. Again, if I'm buying a Ferrari, I don't want to hear that, you know, well, I've got substandard tires, substandard panels or upholstery or instruments. No, it needs to have everything for sure. Following on from our last point, this device does need some sort of expandable storage for a very simple reason, and that is not on this iteration but on the Fold 4 you have the ability to shoot videos in 8K. And what the average consumer may not be aware of is that when you shoot videos in 8K, it creates large files and does eat up the internal storage of the device very quickly. So to me it seems counterproductive that you can have 8K footage, but you only have limited storage on the device. Whereas on my Samsung Galaxy Note 20 Ultra, which is a few years old now, it has expandable storage, and secondly, I can also shoot videos in 8K. So I can shoot videos until my heart is content without worrying about the internal storage. So that's something there that Samsung should think about. And on my last points in terms of must, and that is close the device, and that is the gap there, because I have to say that is a concern. Even when you put a case on it, you can see that gap, and when you look at the competition, theirs closes flat or flush. So this is an area that Samsung definitely needs to work on, because this is an expensive device. And just to prove the point that I'm making, this is the Microsoft Surface Duo, and as you can see, it does close flat, so don't have to worry about dust getting inside. In this section, I'm going to talk about the desirables for this device. Not this device per se, but I'm talking about for the 5th, 6th and so forth iteration of this device. Because I believe if Samsung were to implement at least 3/4 of the ones I'm going to suggest, plus the must-haves, then this device will become the best foldable phone out there. But right now, it is a good phone, but it's not a great phone. So, my first desirable would be expandable storage. And you may back me down and say, look sir, it's 2023. We don't need expandable storage. You can use cloud storage. Okay. My riposte to that is, that's fine. But say for example, you go on a holiday destination, you're on a flight, you're somewhere you can't get internet. But if you had expandable storage, like my Note 20 Ultra here, which is my daily driver till today, is because I have expandable storage. If I have expandable storage, I can load those movies on here. I can watch them, on an aircraft 30,000 feet in the air. I can watch them anywhere, wherever I am in the world, on vacation or wherever. Because I now have the expandable storage, download the movies on there, and I'm good to go. But without it, and if you don't have the internet storage, you're going to struggle, and also it will take up space on your device. These aren't cheap, so you want to be able to maximize that. So not having expandable storage is more of a hindrance than help. And the other very important point, I'm a content creator. I shoot a lot of videos. I batch film a lot of videos. So trying to use something like this, I'll just eat up the internal storage before before I can blink. But with my expandable storage on my Note 20 Ultra, yeah, this really gives me reassurance. And also, you look at Sony Xperia, they still have the expandable storage on the device. It makes a lot of sense. The other point, the other thing I would like to see on these devices, and again, they are desirable, but I think would be really useful, and that would be some sort of notification light. Now, some of you may not think, what's he talking about? Why do you need a notification light? It'd be good to have the notification light. So let's say, for example, I'm sitting, I'm watching television, and then if a message comes in, I'm not really sure what it is or whatever. But if I have a notification light, say in the top corner here, or on one of the corners here, I can see very quickly, if it's a specific color, I've got a text message, I've just missed a phone call message. Or another really good one is, like, if it's a certain color, then I know that, my battery's low and I need to charge my device. Now, just to prove that I'm not making up stories or talking out my head, so here you can see this is my Sony Xperia 1 Mark II, and as you can see right there is the notification light. So that tells me everything's good. Before making this video, it was on red, so that I think it goes to orange then red. So and I saw it from a distance, so that's how I knew that this needed charging. So I think that would be really, really nice touch on the Fold series. Another thing that would be nice on this device is dual SIM, because again, you're going on holiday, it's taking away an expensive device. It would be nice, going on holiday is not just, it's for everybody. So if you can have dual SIM, that is great. So you can have your regular SIM, and then you can also have the SIM of the country you're going to. Yes, I know you have eSIM, but again, it'd still be nice to have dual SIM on these devices. And again, these are a lot. So for me, again, it should have everything. It should, apart from gold dripping from this, it should have everything. The other thing that this one, I have to say, if this one doesn't get implemented, I'm not too fussed. And that is a lot of talk about the crease on these devices. And again, I have to say, it differs from person to person, but I can tell you from my own experience, I have no issues with this crease whatsoever. I have no issues at all with it. But yeah, you can see, it's not a major issue whatsoever. And for my last desirable, and I'm not sure if you've ever noticed, is that whilst this device, we all agree, is a multitasking beast, so you can do a lot of things at once with this device. You can have 4 windows open, which is interesting because unless you have really good concentration span, so you can have something like this or like that. In fact, let me just put it like that. So I'm going to demonstrate the point that I want to make. Then, for example, I want to have, say, some notes here. So, let's put that there. So we've now got 3 windows open, and of course, I can have a 5th one here. So let's just go for, let's go for gallery here. So let's put the gallery in the middle. So that will be the floating window. But I tell you what would be really nice, I'm not sure, maybe others have thought about this, but definitely something for Samsung to think about is, it's great you can have this, with 3 windows plus the floating window. Yes, you can expand it. Yeah, you can expand it like so. It's not a problem. But I tell you what would be really nice is if, for example, this floating window sat in this quarter here. So in effect, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 windows, and on top of that, you have a 5th window, which will be the floating window. Well, that pretty much wraps it up for this episode. My name is Shola. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in another episode. Ciao.